Hi, I'm going to talk about domestic violence, and what I found out is some people like Charles E. Corey say that domestic violence isn't one of the biggest crimes in America, but domestic violence is one of the biggest problems. There's a lot of different types of stuff that happens for domestic violence, like there's honor killings and relationship myths, and then violence against men, and those are the ones that I'm going to be talking about today. And what I think is I don't like domestic violence or any type of violence at all. The first thing that I'm going to tell you about is honor killings, and honor killings is when a member of a family kills someone in their family, and it's because he or she thinks that the person that they're killing did something wrong. And I read a story and it was really sad. I really didn't like it, and it made me almost cry, and I didn't like it. It wasn't nice. I'm going to tell you a few things from the story, and so here we go. According to Daily News, 6 weeks into Tina Isa's senior year, her parents began processing of a withdrawal from her school, and it was because they said that it was because she was not following family rules. During that, they were talking to the girl's counselor, and the girl's mom, Tina's mom, just started describing her daughter as a tramp and a whore and stuff like that. And then she went out on a date with one of the guys she was dating, sorry. But her mom and dad didn't like it when she was dating or stuff like that. So when she got back, her mom pinned her to the floor and her dad killed her. And when they called the cops, they said that that he was defending them because she came at them with a knife. And then the police found out that it wasn't true, and that is an example of honor killings. And yeah. And the next thing that I'm going to talk about is myths and facts in the relationships for domestic violence. One of the common facts that I found is about domestic violence, and they said that when a couple is having domestic violence problems, it is just that they have a bad relationship. Often it's poor communication that is the problem. That's not true though. The truth is, bad relationships do not result in or cause domestic violence. The idea that bad relationships cause violence in the home is one of the most common and dangerous myths about domestic violence. For example, say a girl was murdered by her husband because she didn't tell anyone that she was being abused. That is an example of what would happen. And that was the myth and fact that I learned the most from. Now I'm going to talk about violence against men. Women aren't the only victims of domestic violence. It might not be easy to recognize domestic violence against men. Something that could happen is when you're at home and you see that that he's having problems and stuff and he's trying to hide it because he doesn't want anybody to know that there's anything happening, because he thinks if he tells anybody that he'll be less manly and everybody will start judging him because of what happened. And yeah, so they really don't tell anybody. So yeah. So now I'm done talking about honor killings, myths about relationships and domestic violence against men. I picked domestic violence because I thought that it would be a good thing to tell people about, and it was very sad. I really didn't think it would be this sad, but it was. Now that I told you about domestic violence, what are your thoughts on domestic violence?